Welcome to the Nonprofit Accelerator, brought to you by MatchingGifts.com. We believe every dollar raised can transform both nonprofits and corporations alike. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm here to guide you through today's episode. Take a quick look at your calendar. It is that time of year again. And if you are working in a nonprofit or a school development office right now, I know exactly what your life looks like. You're probably juggling like 3 different direct mail appeals. You're trying to finalize the year-end email cadence, and you're watching that fundraising goal number, just hoping the gap closes before the ball drops on New Year's Eve. It's a lot. The pressure is real, and usually when we get to this point in the year, this deep into the holiday season, the standard advice is to just, keep your head down and survive. People tell you it's too late to try anything new. Just stick to the plan. But today, I want to challenge that. Because there is a massive opportunity that sits right in the middle of the year-end chaos. And surprisingly, most organizations just let it slip by because they think they missed the window. I'm talking about matching gifts. We are going to talk about how to capture some of that estimated $4 to $7 billion. Yes, billion with a B. That goes unclaimed in matching gift funds every single year. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to do it right now in the middle of the busy season without wrecking your schedule. We're basing today's chat on some incredible insights from Adam Weinger over at Double the Donation. If you don't know them, they are the heavy hitters in this space. And the strategies we're going to cover are designed to be surprisingly simple. You'll learn how to set up systems that work while you sleep, how to get more money from donors who have already given, and how to find special holiday-specific corporate money. So if you have ever felt frustrated trying to get companies to engage meaningfully, or you just hate leaving money on the table, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. All right, so most nonprofits say they want stronger partnerships with companies, right? But usually that translates to chasing sponsorships in like June. But year-end is actually a critical time for this. We know from the data that 31% of total giving happens in December. That is a huge chunk of the pie. And get this, 12% of annual donations happen in the last 3 days of the year. So the volume is there. The question is, how do we maximize it? We're going to break this down into 4 specific actionable strategies you can take back to your team. The first strategy we'll call the speedrun tech setup. Okay, I can hear you groaning already. Josh, did you just say tech setup in December? I know. The common myth is that if you didn't buy and install your software in September, it is too late. You think, I can't onboard a new tool now, I'm too busy. But here is the reality. The end of the year is actually when you need automation the most because your human bandwidth is tapped out. You simply do not have the hours in the day to manually check if every donor works for Home Depot or Coca-Cola. Let me give you a real-world example. There's an organization called the Metropolitan YMCA of the Oranges. Cool name, right? Anyway, they were in a bind. They had a fundraising event coming up that same evening. Most people would say, we can't do anything new today. But they decided to implement matching gift software anyway. They got fully onboarded with Double the Donations tools in less than 12 hours. Literally, within hours of buying it, they had it integrated with their donation forms and had the search database live on their site. And the result? Over the next 10 months, that system identified more than $32,000 in match-eligible donations. But here's the kicker. They had a 61% open rate on their automated matching gift emails. That is like 3 times higher than the industry average. So the takeaway here is pretty simple. Do not let perfect be the enemy of done, and do not let the calendar scare you off. Modern tools are built for speed. If you can automate the search for match-eligible donors, you are essentially cloning your best prospect researcher and having them work 24/7 through December. So, strategy 1, it's not too late to automate. If you're drowning in manual work, a quick tech implementation might actually be your lifeline. Moving on to strategy number 2. This one is my favorite because it requires 0 new donations from your supporters. I call this the Retroactive Revenue Rescue. Here's the scenario. It is December 20th. You have a donor, let's call her Sarah. Sarah gave you $100 back in March. She hasn't given since. You might send her an appeal asking for another $50, and maybe she gives, maybe she doesn't. But what we often forget is that many companies keep their matching gift windows open until the end of the calendar year. Companies like Freeport McMoran, William Blair and Company, and Victory Capital, they often allow employees to submit matches for gifts made months ago, as long as it's in the same tax year. So instead of just asking Sarah for more money, which can be fatigued at year end, you reach out with a service message. You say, "Hey Sarah, thank you so much for your gift in March. Did you know you might still have time to double that donation at no cost to you?" This works for a few reasons. 1, it is incredibly respectful of the donor's wallet. You aren't asking them to spend. You're helping them amplify what they already did. It makes them feel smart and impactful. 2, it captures the money that is about to expire. Remember, billions go unclaimed. A lot of that is simply because the deadline passes. So, the action step here? Run a report of donors who gave this year but didn't indicate a match. Filter for those who work at major companies if you have that data. And send a specific, "It's not too late to match your gift from this year" email. It is low friction, high reward. All right, let's pivot to strategy number 3. We'll call this the holiday special hunt. Most of us think of matching gifts as this static thing, like Company A matches donations all year round. And that is true for many, but some companies actually turn on special limited time programs specifically for the holidays. If you aren't looking for these, you will miss them. For example, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has this annual giving campaign, which only runs from mid-October through December. It's a specific window where the incentives are high. Or look at Warner Brothers. They have offered generous donation stipends for employees to use specifically on Giving Tuesday to kick off the season. That is on top of their regular year-round matching. So the strategy here is to familiarize your team with these year-end specific workplace giving programs. If you know you have a cluster of donors who work at a place like Warner Brothers or the IMF, or any large corporation, do a quick check. See if they have a holiday push. Then segment your list. Send a targeted email just to those employees saying, "Hey, we know your company has a special giving window right now. Here's how you can use it to help us." It shows you are paying attention, and it makes it incredibly easy for them to say yes. And finally, strategy number 4, the internal buy-in boost. We talked about the donors, and we talked about the tech. But what about your team? Here's a painful statistic. The number one reason that gap of $4 to $7 billion in unclaimed money exists is a lack of knowledge. And that isn't just donors not knowing. It is often the fundraising staff not knowing how to talk about it. It is really easy for a gift officer to say, "Oh, I don't want to complicate the ask with matching gift talk." Or for the support staff to miss a matching opportunity because they don't know the guidelines. So the strategy is to run a mini training session right now. I know everyone is busy, but it doesn't have to be long. Use resources like the Matching Gift Academy. Double the Donation has a ton of free webinars and downloadable guides. Just take 30 minutes. Get everyone in a room or on Zoom and say, okay, here's the language we use when a donor says they work at Microsoft. Here is how we answer questions about submission deadlines. If your team feels confident talking about it, they will talk about it. If they feel shaky, they will avoid it. And avoiding it costs you money. So to recap the strategies. 1. The speedrun tech setup. Automation can happen fast, even now. 2. The Retroactive Revenue Rescue. Go back to the donors who already gave this year. 3. The Holiday Special Hunt. Look for those time-sensitive corporate programs. And 4. The Internal Buy-in Boost. Arm your team with the right scripts and knowledge. Now, let's take a step back for a second. We've talked a lot about tactics, but I want to share a bit of a deeper insight into why this actually matters right now. There is this really interesting psychological shift that happens when you introduce matching gifts. It's not just about the math. There is this great example of a donor named Jeff. Imagine Jeff is a supporter. He loves your work, but it's December. Inflation is up, maybe his holiday budget is tight. He's looking at his bank account thinking, man, I can only give $50. Is that even worth writing the check? Does $50 really move the needle? We have all been there, right? That feeling of my contribution is too small to matter. But then you tell Jeff that his employer has a 2-to-1 match. Suddenly, his $50 becomes $150. Psychologically, that is a game changer. It pushes him over the edge from not worth it to highly impactful. The stats back this up. We see an 84% increase in the likelihood to donate if a match is offered, and we see a 51% increase in the average gift size. Why? Because donors want to be the hero. They want to feel like their dollar is working harder. So when we talk about year-end matching strategies, I don't want you to think of it just as a way to get corporate checks. I want you to think of it as a donor retention strategy. It is a way to tell your donors, your gift is powerful. That is the heart of it. It's about empowering the individual by using the corporate lever. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. We talked about how 31% of giving happens now, and how automation can save your life in December. If you are feeling overwhelmed, I get it. The to-do list is a mile long, so here's my challenge to you. Don't try to do all 4 strategies we discussed. Just pick one. Maybe this week you just focus on that retroactive email. Pull the list of people who gave in the spring, cross-reference it with a few major employers in your city, and send one personal email reminding them about the deadline. Just see what happens. Or maybe you just add a single line of text to your PS in your next appeal that says, see if your company will match this gift here, and link to a search tool. Small hinges swing big doors. And in December, those small changes can mean thousands of dollars for your mission. Thanks for listening to the Nonprofit Accelerator. Check out matchinggifts.com for more. Go out there and leverage the power of workplace giving. Till next time, I'm Josh. Take care and keep building the foundation for fully utilizing workplace giving.